Here is my ultimate bestiary guide, the Humanoid episode. This is meant to break down, in my opinion, the best way to do the creatures inside of this category. In some cases, I might be missing out better alternatives, so feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. With that said, let's begin. Starting the list with orcs, grouping them together since they are found in groups. I believe the best way to start is by focusing on this mountain at Orc Fortress. There is a high variety of creatures here, notably is the best spot to do the werewolves and the orc riders. If you want to get a high amount of points, it's best to start here and stay until you finish both, which should be in less than 50 minutes. By then, you also get half of bears and progress on orcs. Then move down towards the Orc Fortress quest and alternate between it and the Warlord room to the left of the stairs. Here, you will continue up until you finish the Orc Warlords and should be done with the other orcs by then, resulting in around 2 hours for 120 points in total. With that, now you go to Edron to focus on the lower level orcs. Stay until you finish the regular orc and you will have finished spearmans and warriors by then. And if you don't have poison spiders, you get that as well. As a bonus, if you want to make some profit during a rapid, you could focus shamans here by the lower floors, and it's a good option due to the broken shamanic staff. Moving up to trolls and troll champions. For this, I tried out the Avedendriel cave, which you buy a key from the NPC at the entrance to access, and because champions require twice the amount of kills, I recommend to focus them by marking the spots. Optionally, I was doing firebomb spots for the trolls in the first floor in the meantime, and that will be enough to get them while doing the champions. But I believe there is a better spot for both. East of the Dwarf Bridge, you find a troll cave hiding behind a tree, and here you find way more troll champions, making this better than Avedendriel, but because I didn't try it, I'm sharing the analyzer from AV and just assume it's faster here. Next up is Minotaurs. These can be found in multiple places, but nothing beats the Dark Pyramid in Darasha. Here you progress on the main tree with a very even distribution, finishing them in less than an hour for 45 points, and the only downside is that the spawn tends to get contested in rapids. Once you finish them, move out to the surface and do the upper floors with -1 included, to focus entirely on the regular Minotaurs, and this one you finish in 15 minutes. Next up is Frost Trolls. Head northwest of Carlin and find this raft to travel to Folda, and then simply take this stair down and near it you can mark the spawns and move between them. They do die to firebombs and could be done that way, but I personally was only placing them on the surface and just killing the ones underground. Next up is Elves. The best place is in the camp inside of the Foreign Quarter in Yalahar. I recommend to start by focusing in the Arcanist, which you can find in the upper floor of the houses and underground. This way you will get some progress on Elf and Scouts, and once you're done with the Arcanist, then you switch to focus on the surface to finish up the other two. There is the option of Shadow Thorn in Benor, which is more dense, but that is actually harder to find active during a rapid event and in general. Most of the times it will be light up in fire, which is how and where you do the Firestarters. During this time, all elves in the spawn are turned into Firestarters, and it's very quick to finish. This is part of a world change event where by killing the 3 elf overseers and every single regular elf will make Shadowthorn be on fire at the next server save. And elf overseers are one of the rare creatures in this category. The way you make them spawn is by turning off all the fire in Shadowthorn with prepared buckets of bulk water. Every time you use a bucket to turn off a fire, there is a small chance of summoning a Thorn Fire and a Crystal Wolves, another set of rare creatures, so there is an incentive to do this. Once all the fires that can be turned off are done, then at the next server save, the elf overseers spawn outside of the Firestarter cage underground. However, the problem is that they only respawn once and right after server save. If you can't log in at SS, then the chances of finding one are basically 0. So even though it is an easy bestiary to complete, it can be trolled easily by other players. Now moving on to the dwarves. These are best done into the dwarf hell. On this cave, follow on the path to the last floor through a quest door, and you find this spawn dance with them. Here you can focus on the Geomancers and finish the guards and soldiers this way. If for some reason you only need Geomancers, you can still do them here. Or if you have access to Beauregard, head to Beauregard Mines to the north side of it, mark these spots, and then move between them to focus on Geomancers. As for the regular dwarf, this is best done in this cave from Khazad-dûm on the first floor to the northwest. This is one of the few extensions that the dwarf case has gotten and is more dense because of it. Next up is Swamp Trolls. For this, I tried Porthope's Cave, which is likely worse than Benor in a rapid event, since Benor is more grouped together with the cave being smaller. Regardless, it's a creature that takes a bit over 10 minutes even in Porthope, so it's basically the same. Just note there is 2 options in case one is taken. Next up is Dworks. These are only found here in Port Hope, and you should start by heading to this underground side and go between -2 and -4 depending on the respawn rate and your movement speed to focus entirely on Voodomasters, since depending on how fast you move, it might be enough to stay in 2 floors rather than doing 3. Voodomasters are the least common in the first floor, so it's best to start with them here, and once you complete them, then go back and now you can focus on the others. While you're here, I highly recommend to mark these spots in your map and firebomb the centipedes. This is a good spot to get them and can be done while you're going around killing the Dworcs. Now with that done, let's focus on the Chakoyas. The best place to do them is in Nivelor. You need the first missions of the Ice Island quest, and then you can take the dog sled with a ham in your inventory to cross to the Chakoyas area. Go down 2 times and mark these stars in your map for the rare Chakoya and move in between them while also clearing the middle, and you will finish them all this way. Optionally, there is a rare world change event with a Chakoya spawn in Port Hope, which is also pretty decent with no quest required, but being a world event is more rare to find and is still a bit worse. Next up is Island Trolls. These are exclusively found in Goroma. You need to travel between Liberty Bay to Thes until you shipwreck here, and then farm 30 wood pieces to fix the boat to allow travel between the two. This recording was before the introduction of the new pirates, which have been added to this surface area. Now, rather than focusing on the trolls, you should focus on the pirates and passively get the trolls. On this analyzer and recording, I was ignoring the trolls for the most part, so the kills is lower than it should be. Optionally, you can firebomb the spots underground to get even more of them, while doing the surface for the pirates. Next up is Dwarf Henchman. This one is a bit more unique than the other dwarves and is found in Khazad-dûm, but through doing the Secret Service quest. At the mission 7 you will receive access to the area and then you can find it inside casks here. I don't recommend to leave it for a rapid event because the respawn rate is a little bit weird here, and it can be done normally or with a city boost with similar speed. Next up is 2 rare goblin creatures. First off is the goblin leaders. The best place to do it isn't the way to Berserker. You don't need to start the quest, but it is recommended to follow the instructions there to go towards the goblin leaders, which are upstairs of the path to the city and the dragon lair, following this path. Meanwhile, for the other one, the Grynch clan goblin, these are exclusively found during December 20 to the 28th, on the raids that happen in all the cities. They spawn a lot at a time, so it's quite easy to get it. Now we move on to common goblins, starting with assassins and scavengers. Go to the goblin cave in Edron and go down here and mark these spots to go down in these 2 caves, where you will find firebomb spots for the goblins. Alternate between them and you will be working on both goblins quite evenly. But for goblins, I opted for doing them in Femor Hills. Here you find big pools and get the bestiary in 10 minutes. But due to a recent addition of the Muglex clan goblins and were included on the mainland here at the Edron Goblin Cave, if you do this during a rapid, you will get goblins this way and it's probably better. However, doing these Muglex goblins takes about an hour for only 10 points, so I will leave them as low priority bestiary. Moving on for Furious Trolls and Legionnaires. These are found in Berserker and required to start the mission of repairs. Once you have repaired them all, you are taken to this room where now you must create the path towards your goal, which in this case is the Trolls Thrive hideout. Although I recommend to activate this one, you receive the Pathfinder achievement and unlock a shortcut between Khazad-dûm and Berserker. Anyways, once at the Trolls hideout, I recommend to follow the lab I've been showing. The kill distribution is biased towards Legionnaires, which is better since those require 1000 kills and the Furious Troll only 500, and they are fairly easy creatures to kill that nobody should struggle with. Next up is Orc Marauders. For this, it's best to do them outside of the Sao Orc clan, marking the spots where they respawn and move in between them. You can get them fairly quick during a rapid event, but it's also recommended to show up to the raids of Kublai the Plunderer and Sulasa. Both of these come with big waves of orc creatures, and if you don't have them already, it's a good moment to get kills quickly. Next up is Troll Guards. These are found during a raid in Carling. When you see this message, the trolls will respawn 3 minutes after that. So in order to get them, you have to go there upon seeing the message and hope that it's not very contested. The raid brings 7 in total, so it's possible to finish it in one go. Next up is Enslaved Dwarves. These are found in the Lost Dwarf Mines and in the Lower Spike. The best way I found was on these two spots, alternating between them during a rapid event. You will get a high variety of creatures this way, which if you don't have, then is quite worth the time investment for a potential total 150 points in 3 hours or so. However, it's more common to already have some of these creatures, and that ends up lowering the total points to be made, and because of that, I put them at a low priority bestiary. It's good if you need more of these creatures, and it's bad if you only missing the Enslaved Dwarfs. Keep in mind, knights have the advantage of turning the ranged creatures melee, making it a bit faster. And from these other creatures of the Lost Dwarves, as said before, if you don't have the Enslaved Dwarf, I highly recommend you to group them together and get all 4 that way, plus the other creatures you progress there. But optionally, there is these 3 spots where I was doing the 3 Lost Dwarves and progressed Reworms and Worms, leaving it up to you to decide what to focus on. Next up is Lost Berserkers. These are found in the Warzone 2 and 3, both requires to complete the Bigfoot's Burden questline and unlock access to the Warzones. Since they can be found in both spawns, they are not the main creature and they are equally rare on both, so it's up to you to decide which is best to home. Due to these creatures being hard category, it's a good plan for a group of players during a rapid event. In my case, I am offering the solo numbers for a 1.2 EK, and it was the same of 34 kills in 10 minutes in both areas. My recommendation is to not solo them during a rapid event, because it would be better to hunt off rapid and progress roughly the same. But instead, if you gather more people, then it's good to come during a rapid and get up to 200 points in either spawn, then it's a pretty good option. Coming next is the Coryms. There is many spawn options, but the one I recommend is in Minotaur. During a city boost, I was doing a lap on this south area where the focus is toward Vanguards and Skirmishers pretty evenly. Charlatans will be completed before you finish them, so it works out in the end. During a rapid event, the lap can be shortened further. I tried out a few more spots, but I preferred this due to being more balanced between the 2 main Coryms. Next up is the Little Corym Charlatans. This one is a rapid event exclusive, or at least is far more efficient this way. They are found in Venor as well, but only when you pick up the sabotage task of the Venor daily task. You will be granted access for a limited time of 5 minutes. Once that is up, you get kicked out and will need to come again the next day. Fire bomb the respawning points and stay off screen to not block the respawn. I didn't know at the time, but thanks to my human category video, I was told a better strat to deal with the creatures that have block respawns. For mages, summon a creature that you can trap with bombs close enough to the respawn points that it triggers the creatures to attack and walk over the fire. For non-mages, you can buy animated dead runes and use them on the bodies to summon a skeleton, which does the same trick, albeit weaker and might need to be resummoned. I was getting close to 15 in the 5 minute period, and perhaps this will increase to 60 plus, but due to this being a 500 creature kill, it's a multiple rapids project, and you could even include the days that Venor is city boosted to finish them sooner. Next up is the Oramond high class Minotaurs. There is 6 creatures in total, and even though they can be done mostly together in this area of Oramond with a group during a rapid, or even hunted off rapid by the lower levels, it's best to determine your goals early on. If you are solo, you might want to focus on the 3 weaker creatures first, moving between this lap. The reason is that it takes more time to kill the higher minos in the other spots and is a little bit less time efficient. But the decision that matters most is whether you plan on getting high bestiary points and want to get the Minotaur Amazon. Unfortunately, this is a 2500 kills creature, unlike all the others that only need 1k, so the time required to complete is far more, and the best strategy for it is when the Oramond Catacombs is on the Minotaur cycle, which is also pretty rare, and you're likely needed to cast the boss yourself to turn it into Minos in advance to a rapid event. But assuming you are able to find the Minotaur's face on a rapid event, then moving between the right side, focusing on these spots, I was getting the most amount of Minotaur Amazons for a bit over 4 hours to complete them, and during that you will finish the other 2. This is a very low priority bestiary in my opinion, but if you don't have the other 2, then it's slightly better. Next up is Minotaur Invaders, also another exclusive to Oramond, but in a different area. You will need to have casted 300 bonding points in the Rathalon quest to unlock access to the Glut Factory, and with that you get access to the raids here. This one is on the east side and they alternate between each at random, prioritizing whichever has the most votes for raids. You can ship added off rapid when the raid is active and get progress that way, or you can come during a rapid and kill the innate creatures to here, which do have enough to sustain 200 kills in 10 minutes, for a bit over an hour to complete the invaders. Next up is the Shapers. These creatures are part of the Forgotten Knowledge quest. The best area is the one you unlock after having defeated the mini bosses for the other portals, which is not common to have nowadays, but if you do have it, then in this area I was following these marks, including a levitate up to get more twisted and matriarch shapers, and if you need more of one, you can focus on the respawn points. An alternative far easy to unlock is in the death portal. Go down 2 times and you find them here. However, the kill distribution leaves twisted shapers behind by a lot, so it's not great, but it's the most accessible way since people don't do the Forgotten Knowledge bosses these days. And you have the option to move to the Holy Portal once you finish the matriarchs. Here focus between these runes to finish the twisted shapers you're missing. Next up is the Misguided. These are part of the Calls of Tibia quest, and you only need to talk to Nuser in POH to get access. Then follow the path to -3 on this golden area and mark these runes to move between them. This was the best way to get a balanced distribution between the two creatures, so it's what I recommend. The others I tried would favor the bullies more. Doing them like this, you should complete both in under 2 hours for 50 points, which is decent enough. Next up is Barkless. These creatures are also part of the Calls of Tibia, and you will need to do the initial trials to unlock the whole area, which you need to work on the fanatics. These are found in the northern side of the cave. These creatures can be done off rapid and it's a bit wasteful to come on an event, but if you do, then split them up, mark these spots in the south side to work on the devotees, and then you do the same on the north to focus on the fanatics. In both, I was getting 200 kills in 10 minutes, so a bit over an hour each to complete. Now coming next, the Orc Cult. These are part of the Calls of Tibia questline, and you are required to do the transforming part to unlock access to all the floors. There is 5 creatures in total, and the distribution is all over the place, depending on the floor. If you want to work on everything at the same time, the second floor is where you encounter all of them, but with uneven distribution. So if you do plan on getting all 5, the best thing to do is to start by focusing exclusively on our fanatics on -1 and -2. Move between them and kill the orcs near better spots, and once you have 500 kills or so, then stick to -2 to work on everything, and you can finish the cold priest on -3. Basically, rather than sticking to just one floor, split them up for about 1 hour at a time, and that should cut down a fourth of the time it takes to complete all 5 at the end. Additionally, this is doable with the city boost of Edrem. Next up comes the Cold Minotaurs, another creature part of the Calls of Tibia. They are found on the way to Mintwalling, and talking to the NPC in the entrance is enough to access. Once inside, head to -2 and do laps across this southern area, marking these spots. And this way the last 2 common Minotaurs will be sort of even. Other spots favor one or the other, so I believe it's best to stick to this area instead. Coming next, Lost Exiles. These are creatures exclusive to the Warzone Fight task area, and it's one I have never bothered to do myself, but for this video I realize it's not that bad. But first, it's not recommended to do it on a rapid event. This area has a dynamic where you find makeshift homes. These have a large AoE that overlaps with other houses. If you try to kill a Lost Exile within that area, then they will disappear and it won't count for the Bestiary. So you need to destroy the houses, preferably up to the 3 closest to each other. Once that is done, you can lure the Lost Exiles even further out to be sure, and then they can be killed. I believe the north and south is probably the easiest spot to make sure the houses are destroyed to lure a bunch of exiles, and before the houses respawn, there is time to do another pull on each side. This was done off rapid and getting under 50 kills in 10 minutes. It still puts this as a very low priority bestiary in my opinion, but I thought it was worse. Next up, the Winter Elves. You need to start off the Dream Course quest and the Ice Islands questline for access to Tirson. Here you find a variety of creatures besides the elves, and it can be hunted off rapid normally, be it solos or teams in different level ranges. If you save them for a rapid, most people will be looking to do the Soul Broken Harbingers, which are the least common of the elves, and even if you have no progress, it's best to start by focusing on them on +3. It takes over 4 hours to complete them, but during that time you get a third of the Winter Elves, and then you can do different different spot for them where you can focus them easily. For example, luring in the middle of the surface and the underground, but it's better if you already have access to the portal and then inside of it you can focus only on them. Look for the spots where you find more of the elves you need and get them that way. Next up are the summer elves. You need to start off the Dreamcourse quest and the Threatened Dreams for access to Fairies. These can be hunted off rapid by solos or teams at different levels, so it's not a good one to do on a rapid, but if you choose to do it, I recommend to focus on the Insane Sirens respawn points in +1. Move between them, killing the creatures nearby, but keeping the focus for the Sirens, which are the most rare of the three, and this way you will still be getting the Crazed Elves by the time you finish the Insane Sirens, but for an over 8-hour bestiary, it sits on the low priority on my book. I try to focus on the elves for a test and the kill distribution is too unbalanced and inefficient for a rapid event. It's more common to hunt them normally and leave the sirens as a rapid event exclusive. Coming next is the pirates. You need to do a pirate stealth quest for access and it's highly recommended to wait until access to the pirate's ship. This is because the pirate's mate is only found here and in one of the raids, so the recommended way to do this bestiary is on the ship. It's possible to do this off rapid, although due to the popularity of this spawn for farmers, it's hard to find it available, especially since depending on the level, you might need both floors. On this hunt I was doing both floors with the main focus on the mates, and as you can see the scoundrels and bombardier count is low, and that is one you can do in a rapid event in the pirate's mine. -1, you can focus on the bombardiers on cut roads, and -2 for the scoundrels, and this is a viable option if you don't want to deal with unlocking full access to the ship. Next up is the Crapemen and Rinders. These creatures are found in Ingold through the Cradle of Monsters questline. This is not a spawn that requires of rapid events and is doable for regular hunting, be it teams or solos. Progressing through the questline unlocks different floors, but the surface is the best to fit a team, and -1 fits better for solo mages. Regardless, with a team of level 500s, we were getting over 600 kills in an hour, so it's a charm that can be done in 4 hours of team hunting. As for solos, mages are the only one that does them effectively, everyone else should try to do them with a group. Next up are Boarmans and Lyodiles. These creatures are also found in Ingold through the Cradle of Monsters questline, and are one of the best team hunting spots in the game for the level range, so it will be done at some point off rapid. The best floor to hunt and get the most of the kills for them is in -3. That will require your group to get at least up until mission 5 of the questline. Once you have access, the minimum level recommended I go with is over 600s, and with a group of that level range, no charms, we were getting over 500 kills an hour, so less than 5 hours to complete both of them. In terms of solos, I think level 800s can do it except knights. Coming next is the Bultars. These are part of the 20 Years a Cook questline. You need to do more than half the quest missions to unlock access to the area. Once you get access, the spawn itself is massive and no rapid event are required for this. It can be solo by any vocation, although EKs perform the best here. And if it is a solo hunt, I think most will need level 900s average or so. In terms of team hunting, a 600 average can do just fine. And in fact for us, with weak characters on a new server of that lower range, we were getting around the 600 kills an hour, so a 4-hour charm for that lower range. Easily one of the best ways to get points as a team. Now to finish it up with the newish Nosferatu creatures and barks. These creatures are found in Bengo through the Bloody Tusk questline, and for these 3 creatures in particular, during a rapid event, you could do the lower floor of the castle between these 3 rooms, and that's a good way to get them. However, they are not a rapid event exclusive, and the spawn can be hunted in many ways. The castle will favor the Norks and barks a bit more, but the catacombs that you unlock through the questline are massive and divided in 2. Here, if you hunt on the west side, is how to progress faster on these 3 in particular. Optionally, it's a good spot to do on a rapid event with a group right by the entrance and to the left, but again, not necessary so long you have a team to hunt with. This spawn can be done by level 600 plus, and because there is 6 creatures in total, you can come here for that alone and leave with 300 points. But that's all I got for this episode. If you find it helpful, consider subscribing, and if you wanna look for more options to charm, check out the playlist for the ultimate bestiary guide. Thank you for watching, and until the next one.